In the middle of New Mexico's dusty desert, something strange happens every morning. A mysterious man disappears into a cave. 4 teenagers decide to follow him, but they immediately get the shock of their lives. Every morning, as the sun was starting to rise over the dusty hills of New Mexico, a strange man named Ra Paulette would walk across the desert and vanish into a cave. People in the nearby town wondered what he was doing in there. One day, a group of curious friends couldn't take the mystery anymore and decided to follow him. Paulette had always been a little odd, and they couldn't wait to laugh at his latest quirk. What was this foreigner hiding in that cave? Ra Paulette wasn't from New Mexico. He had grown up in Indiana, where the land is flat and green. But something about the desert called to him like it was whispering a secret only he could hear. He moved to this small town nestled in the high desert, and that's when the mystery began. For the past decade, he had been disappearing into various caves in the area, sometimes for hours, sometimes for entire days. One person who was particularly interested in Paulette's daily journeys was Sarah Martinez, a local art teacher at the community college. She had moved to the town 5 years ago, hoping to inspire young minds with the beauty of the desert landscape. But lately, her students seemed more disconnected from the natural world around them, more interested in their phones than in art. And she too was starting to let her eyes roam outside the classroom. She couldn't help but notice Paulette's dedication, walking past her classroom window every morning with his tools and his dog, and she wondered if there might be a story there worth sharing with her students to inspire them. Year after year, Paulette disappeared into his cave. Sometimes people would see a strange, warm light coming from inside, like the cave was glowing from within. They'd hear odd noises too, the sound of metal hitting sandstone echoing across the desert. But nobody was brave enough to find out what was really going on. Then came the summer that changed everything. 4 teenage friends, Tommy, Maria, Josh, and Lisa, were all searching for something meaningful in their lives. Tommy was known as the restless spirit in Miss Martinez's art class at the community college. He could never focus long enough to finish a project, always claiming art was pointless in today's digital world. Maria was different. She had natural talent, but was too insecure to pursue art seriously. Josh was a newcomer to town, trying to find his place in the community, and Lisa dreamed of becoming a journalist and saw this mystery as her chance to tell a great story. One early morning, when the air was still cool and crisp, they spotted Paulette heading to his cave with his dog trotting faithfully beside him. This time, they decided to follow him. They waited until he was far ahead, then quietly crept behind him. Despite their age, they felt like kids again. The anticipation built with each careful step they took. Tommy nearly gave them away when he accidentally kicked a small rock, sending it skittering across the dusty ground. They all froze, hearts pounding. But Paulette didn't seem to notice. His dog's ears perked up briefly, but then returned to its relaxed position. As they approached the cave, they noticed something unusual. The entrance wasn't just a dark hole anymore. It looked different. Someone had carefully shaped it, making it smooth and almost like a doorway. And that warm light they sometimes saw, it was streaming out now, making the whole cave entrance glow like magic. The group almost turned back. They were apprehensive. But Lisa whispered, "We've come this far. This could be the story of a lifetime." So holding their breath, they tiptoed closer to the entrance. That's when they heard it, the gentle tapping of metal on stone. And was that humming? It sounded like Paulette was singing to himself as he worked. Gathering all their courage, the 4 friends peeked around the corner of the cave entrance. What they saw left them speechless. This wasn't just a cave anymore. It was like stepping into another world entirely. The walls weren't rough and rocky. They were smooth and beautiful, with intricate patterns and shapes carved right into the sandstone. Sunlight streamed in through perfectly placed windows carved into the ceiling, flooding the space with natural light that danced across the sculpted surfaces. And there was Paulette, carefully hitting the wall with his hand tools, transforming plain rock into art, while his dog watched contentedly from a corner. He must have heard them gasp because he turned around, but instead of being angry, he smiled. "Well, hello there," he said. "I was wondering when someone would finally come to see what I'm up to." For a moment, everyone stood frozen. The 4 friends were caught nervous, Paulette still holding his carving tool mid-strike. Tommy was the first to break the silence, his usual bravado failing him as he stammered, "We're sorry for following you, sir. We were just curious." Paulette's eyes crinkled with understanding. "Curiosity is nothing to apologize for," he said, setting down his tools. "Though I admit I'm surprised it took the town this long to send some investigators." Lisa, finding her journalist's voice, stepped forward. "What you're doing here is incredible. Would you mind telling us about it?" Paulette looked thoughtful for a moment, studying the young faces before him. He saw something in their expressions, perhaps the same spark of wonder he'd felt when he first discovered these caves. "Well," he said finally, "since you've come all this way, why don't I give you the grand tour? But first I have to know, what do you think of my little hobby?" They all exchanged glances, and Josh said, "Honestly, sir, it's like nothing we've ever seen before." Paulette's face lit up. "Then let me show you what following your passion looks like. Welcome to my Cathedral of the Spirit." He showed them around his cave. But it wasn't just one cave. He had carved out multiple chambers, each with its own theme and aesthetic. One looked like a sacred space, with tall columns reaching to the ceiling and intricate spiritual symbols carved into the walls. Another had wavy walls that looked like they were moving, creating an otherworldly atmosphere. It was the most amazing thing they had ever seen. Tommy couldn't contain his excitement. "How did you do all this?" he asked, running his hand along a smooth wall. For the first time in his life, he was genuinely interested in how something was made. Paulette explained that he had been working on these caves for over 10 years using only simple hand tools, a pick, a shovel, and a ladder. Sometimes, he said, the simplest tools can create the most beautiful things. Josh was particularly moved by how Paulette had worked with the natural sandstone, not against it. "You haven't destroyed anything," he observed. "You've transformed it, made it even more beautiful." Paulette nodded, pleased that the young man understood. "That's exactly right. This isn't about conquering the earth or bending it to our will. It's about working in harmony with what's already here, revealing the beauty that's hidden within." Maria, usually so insecure about her art, couldn't stop asking questions about Paulette's techniques. Her eyes lit up when he showed her how he used different tools to create different textures in the stone. Lisa was frantically taking notes and photos, knowing she had stumbled upon something extraordinary. "But why?" Maria finally asked. "Why did you make all this?" Paulette's eyes twinkled as he answered, "I believe we all need spaces for spiritual renewal and mental well-being. Somewhere we can go to forget about our worries and just be amazed. That's what I'm trying to create here, a sanctuary where art and nature come together to heal the soul." He went on to explain his vision for the caves. "I dream of hosting art events here someday. Imagine musicians playing as the sunset streams through those windows, or artists finding inspiration in these curved walls. This place could be a catalyst for creativity and healing." Shocked and excited, the four friends left the cave, promising they would be back the next day to keep Paulette company while he worked. When the group didn't show up for their usual activities the following day, Miss Martinez became curious. She remembered their excited whispers from the day before, how Tommy had been unusually animated, pointing at a rough sketch in his notebook saying, "We'll follow him at sunrise," and Lisa responding, "This could be the story of the year." Miss Martinez became curious. She felt it had something to do with the mysterious caveman. After her classes, she decided to take a walk in the direction she always saw Paulette go. As she approached the cave area, she heard excited voices echoing from inside. Cautiously, she peeked in and was amazed to see her students, covered in dust but grinning from ear to ear, as they helped Paulette smooth out a section of wall. "What's going on here?" she asked. Tommy responded, "Miss Martinez, look at this." Paulette introduced himself. "Welcome, I hope you don't mind that I borrowed your students." Miss Martinez looked around. "This is incredible." Maria showed her teacher a carving technique. Josh explained, "It's like working with nature." Lisa added, "There's an amazing story here about passion and art." Miss Martinez turned to Paulette. "Thank you, this is inspirational." The mysterious artist nodded. "That's what I hope to create." Miss Martinez observed her engaged students and then asked Paulette, "Could we make this part of our art curriculum?" Paulette agreed, "Nothing would make me happier." Miss Martinez felt a renewed sense of purpose, having found a new way to inspire her students. The discovery of Paulette's caves didn't just change the town, it changed the four friends. Tommy, who could never focus in art class, started spending his free time learning to carve. He began with soap and worked his way up to softer stones, dreaming of the day he could create something as beautiful as Paulette's caves. Maria found her confidence through art, no longer afraid to pursue her passion seriously. Josh was inspired to start a local environmental art initiative, showing others how to work in harmony with nature. And Lisa? She wrote an article about Paulette that launched her journalism career and helped spread his message of environmental respect and artistic vision. Miss Martinez was inspired too. She worked with Paulette to create a special program at the college, teaching students about the intersection of art and nature. The cave visits became a regular part of her art class, with Paulette occasionally giving demonstrations of his carving techniques. News of Paulette's caves spread fast. People came from far away to see his creation. A filmmaker even spent time documenting his work, amazed by the dedication of this one man who, day after day, year after year, had worked to bring his vision to life. Now, Paulette continues his work, accompanied by his loyal dog. He says it will take many more years to complete his vision. But that's okay, he says with a smile. When you love what you're doing, time doesn't matter. These days, no one in town sees Paulette as the strange caveman anymore. They're proud to know him. He's shown everyone that one person can create something magical with simple tools, time, and a big dream. More importantly, he's shown that progress and nature can work together, creating something better. What a beautiful tale. What do you think about Paulette? Have you ever discovered something incredible and you were brave enough to explore? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more amazing true stories that will blow your mind.